county employees. One of the arguments used against offering these benefits to the handful of people who would utilize them has been, quote, added taxpayer cost. This is a shell game argument. As a Medicaid liaison in a hospital, I know that the taxpayer will pay more for uncovered spouses and families of county employees. They end up applying for Medicaid or the tax-funded hospital grant programs, or file bankruptcy, and the hospital absorbs the bad debt, raising the cost to other clients. The bills will be paid, and the taxpayer will pay them, like it or not. The problem is that people without health insurance wait and seek care when their medical problems are really critical and end up costing significantly more. Everyone knows this is true. So I'm left with the suspicion that failure to offer domestic partner benefits to county employees is really about public perception and media spin for political election campaigns. Putting election politics before people can have some unintended consequences. This year, for instance, my spouse Bess and I have been honored by 3 different organizations for social justice activisms. This is new. We've learned to organize, phone bank, canvass, raise money, mobilize people. What initially prompted our activism 2 years ago, it was the injustice we saw in the county refusing to offer DP benefits to the few workers who need it. It sounds stupid, but it changed our lives. So we encourage Monroe County to do the right thing and ensure that domestic partner benefits are provided to all their employees in the contract negotiations underway. Frankly, we're pretty busy people now, would like to free up these Tuesday nights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Bob Ingram from Empower Welfare Rights. I signed up to speak tonight because I was concerned that the Human Services Committee called off their last meeting because they didn't have an agenda, when there are many things that I believe and many of us believe should be on the agenda. On my way to the podium, literally, I ran into Commissioner Reed, and we had a long talk, which, in a sense, frames my comments. Kelly Reed said that they are going to appoint someone half-time to study the telephone issue and ideally to improve it. As of right now, the telephones at county are not working. If you call, the chances are about 3 out of 4 you got an answering machine. Recipients tell us frequently that their calls are not answered, that the workers don't call back. In maybe 10% of the cases, you get an automatic recording that says we can't take a message now, please call back, and hangs up. The situation there is such that the workers themselves actually communicate with one another by email, but they can't call each other. They don't call each other because they can't. Now, Commissioner Reed tells me that this is being studied to have a half-time person working on it, and that's good luck. The other issue we were concerned about is the notary issue, and many of you know that some eligibility documents are being required to have a notary notarized as they're submitted for eligibility. And the state passed this rule down and did not make any provision for the notary practice, for people to be notarized, to people to be licensed as notaries. I'll get it again. Anyhow, the commissioner tells me that they have appointed some staff people and given them notary licenses. I'm asking the question, is this going to be adequate to meet the demand for notaries? And the answer from the commissioner is we don't know. So the telephone issue, the notary issue are still up in the air, and we're glad to hear the commissioner's working on it, and we're hopeful but not convinced.
Next we have Todd Wersinger, and then followed by Rita Lewis.
President Zaira and distinguished legislators, I wish to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Todd Wersinger. I've been a probation officer for Monroe County for over 12 years. I'm the CSEA Unit 7400 Section President for the Monroe County Office of Probation and Community Corrections. I spoke to you on 2 previous occasions with an urgent plea to provide our department with the staff we need to do our jobs effectively and increase the safety of our community. In 2008, 3 active probationers were the victims of homicide and 2 active probationers were accused of homicide. A 3rd accused person had a probation investigation pending. In 2009, already 2 probationers have been accused of shooting a victim in his own home, resulting in death. I'm not suggesting that we have the power to prevent all bad things from happening. However, it is a certainty that we could do a better job with adequate staffing. In 2008, probation was involved in the seizure of 33 guns from prohibited persons. Despite these remarkable results, we are left with the feeling that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We currently have 8,457 active cases of probation spread throughout the areas that you represent. Since I spoke to you last, and despite urgent pleas, our staffing situation has worsened. We currently have 35 positions that are vacant. On average, a general supervision officer would need 138 hours of overtime per month in order to manage their assigned workload. Our administration has put forth great effort to fill positions when they receive approval to do so. I ask you as representatives of our community to make probation staffing a priority. Mathematically, we need 19 general supervision officers and 3 investigators to be able to safely manage our required job duties. The past 2 probation exams have only allowed the hiring, I'm almost done, may I continue?
Yes.
Thanks. The past 2 exams have allowed only the hiring of probation officer trainees. Although our state governing agency only requires 1 year of probation officer trainee status, Monroe County requires 2 years. This exacerbates the situation in that POTs have significantly reduced caseloads, which limit the relief to the workload situation. Our goals are to provide effective rehabilitation and ensure community safety. Your support is critical to our success. I thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you.
Rita Lewis?
I want to mention that with the economy getting worse day by day, the time has come for legislatures to really be concerned about the poor. The time has come. It's way overdue. Your policies are still very difficult for the poor. The issue of mandating that they get paper notarized and not providing them with a notary right there, it's very, very difficult for our poor to be able to get the documents in that they must get in. And, you know, people are out here hurting, and yet they're still being denied because of a job search that was inadequate, or because they missed an appointment that they couldn't get to, and they couldn't get a hold of their worker because the phone system doesn't work, and they show up at DSS and they're told if you don't have an appointment you can't be seen. You know, this is what the poor are facing, and it's extremely just wrong that we should place this kind of burden on people who are already hurting. So I really hope that you revisit the policies that are being thrown on the poor, thrust on the poor, and really begin to make the process easier for obtaining public assistance, because that is the bottom. That is the bottom. If people can't get public assistance, they have nothing. Absolutely.